Yo, guys, yo, guys, yo, guys, yo, guys. It is RDS here, Old Man G, back again. Well, I've not actually done a live match reaction this season. And usually you've been seeing for thanks to those who checked out the video reaction. I'm going to be doing a lot more of those. But I have to rant. I have to rant. I'm sure there's a lot of people in the comments have stuff to say, and obviously, if you want to have your say, I will post the link to the stream in the description if you want to come on. So I'll just post that up there just in case anyone wants to come on. But I don't know where to start, guys. But I'll start here. Like the vid, and subscribe with your new bottom right hand corner. 10 people watching. Let's get to 10 likes, man. So appreciate it, and everyone who's getting involved. Big up Matt in the chat. Big up everyone. Atom, like, share, and subscribe on the way. And everyone, thank you so much. SMB, big up. Perfect opportunity to sack turn going into international football. That's not going to happen, Matty. It's not going to happen. 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 We'll talk about that, but that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen now. It's not going to happen now. Not after 3 games. Only 3 games. That's not going to happen. But there is a way that I do see it happening, and I'll come to that later. So I think first things first. That was unacceptable from the manager and the players. I'll just say that right now. That was completely unacceptable. I see bath time. Bath time, I'll bring you in a second. Give me about 10 minutes to just say my piece. That was unacceptable. Unacceptable. And we've seen in the past that managers have it's third season syndrome, and oftentimes in that third season, one of the signs has been getting humbled by Liverpool at Old Trafford. Being humbled by Liverpool at Old Trafford is a bad sign for managers going forward, and it's not. Bad Bills. After says, "Don't worry, everyone. One of those likes, hats indoors after don't need at least 15 likes." Yes. Bro, buddy, man. So the hairline has been receding so far back watching Manchester United play, man. I gotta keep it real. But listen, at the end of the day, I'll break this into 3 components. 1 or 2 individuals, and then obviously the manager, and then maybe to a certain extent the structure. But the first things first is that this was unacceptable. This literally just was unacceptable from start to finish. I don't care what you're playing. It's Liverpool Old Trafford. And in the second half, when we're 2-0 down, 3-0, the petulance, the sort of the to just kind of just almost give up after 54 minutes. I just thought that was just unacceptable, to be honest. Especially given how many of those players are on a considerable amount of money. We'll get to some of them later. Let's start with the elephant in the room. Casemiro's finished. I'm going to get to Bruno later because I don't think it helps that Bruno consistently bombs off high, doesn't drop deep to help the midfield. The amount of misplaced passes that he was making was so bad. But those were literally 2 mistakes, and those 2 mistakes were on Casemiro. Okay, the pass that Casemiro made, I was like, I don't know what. For the first goal, we were actually playing okay for the first 20 minutes, I thought. But I could start to see the fact that why are we still open? Why are fullbacks so high up the field to allow, and basically Salah and Diaz can basically just are sitting in our own half. I don't know what's going on here, but I know that this game is too open, and I was surprised by how open it was. And then, the misplaced pass of Casemiro was bad. It's almost like a 5-on-3, and we concede. The offside goal, yeah. So sometimes the offside goal was a warning. It was a warning, and unfortunately, we didn't respond to said warning. So that's the first goal. The second goal, Casemiro is 32. I don't know how he got bullied there. I saw that. I was like, that's not a foul. He got bullied, and again, it's a 4-on-3, I think, and we get punished. Can Onana do better? I'm not sure. That both goals are like kind of bottom hand corner and stuff, bottom right corner. It's difficult when you're placing it that far in. And we're 2-0 down after 42 minutes from Luis Diaz, and you're like, oh no. you hope that things improve in the second half. And Casemiro got hooked off. He didn't come back in. I mean, it's a telling to how far Casemiro has fallen, in that you're relying on an academy player, because his confidence went after 2 games. It just went. And you're relying on academy player and Toby to try and fix your role. That's insane to me. It's insane. Mainoo obviously makes the mistake. He gets pressed because they know that our midfielders is dysfunctional as it stands. He loses the ball, and we concede again. It's 3-0 already. And all of our goals basically came on. So stop being at individuals. I need to start with individuals first. So I agree with you, but I need to start with individuals first. Because as much as I want to go on Ten Hag, and I will, Ten Hag is still not responsible for playing misplaced passes. That first goal is not on, for me, is not on Ten Hag or any managerial thing. It's the one thing I would give Liverpool, and this is obviously on coaching, is what surprised me by seeing them is just how they were always good on the ball under Klopp, but their passing was so much better than it was last season. Quick, fast, one-touch passing. I was like, where this is weird. This isn't the Liverpool from last season at all. Moreover, unlike last season under Klopp, where we could break on Liverpool, I found a lot of the time that when we tried to break, Liverpool, the players got back into position. We couldn't break on these guys. When we tried to counter, when we tried to break, they were in position, they're ready. We couldn't break on them. We couldn't break on them whatsoever. So the counter-attack option is gone, and their passing is far better than we are. We're misplacing passes when we're getting top balls forwards. Bruno's passing the ball sideways. Rashford is running it into goodness knows what. And we'll talk about that selection in a second. But so at the end of the day, we're 3-0 down, and the players just seem to have just given up, down tools, not interested in. Quite frankly, the only people I can rate today are Toby coming in because, well, we conceded less goals. That's all I can say. We conceded less when he came on. You know, what can you do? And Ahmad, because when Ahmad came on, I was like, oh, you know, Ahmad's our best right winger, and why are we picking playing Garnacho on the right to accommodate Ahmad when we should be playing dropping Rashford and putting Garnacho on left and putting Ahmad on the right? I don't understand that. Okay, so overall, humiliating performance, obviously getting dunked on by Liverpool at Old Trafford, not great. You're going into international break, and the next game is Southampton away, which you have to win, because if you lose, it's arguably it's over. And then you now have to think about, okay, and because I think Manchester's next games are Southampton, FC Trent in Europa League, and Barnsley. So you've got 3 games which you should effectively win. If you don't win them all, and you don't win them all comfortably, they're going to be serious questions. Ugarte comes in. You know, Casemiro has probably played his last game for Manchester United unless Ugarte gets injured. And even then, Toby might come and play instead. And, you know, we have to obviously ask. We have to also ask, the attack isn't good enough. Okay, and much like Ahmad and Garnacho, to expect, one of the things I looked at watching the game was thinking, wow, Liverpool have Chiesa, Salah, Diaz, Darwin Núñez, Jota to score their goals. And Manchester United have Ahmad, Garnacho, Zirkzee, Rashford. Because Højlund is injured yet, so he's not there. And those are our goals. Those are the people. Zirkzee, Garnacho, and Rashford. And 3 of those, Rashford is basically looks like he's finished, and 3 of the other guys are less than 20, are under 21 years old. I don't know how old Zirkzee is. Is he more than 21? and then you've got Ahmad and Garnacho, and we're relying on those guys. Are those guys that I mentioned, are those guys going to get 20 goals a game? And then to make it worse, the senior players you are trying to rely on, the Brunos and the Rashfords. Bruno was awful today, by the way. The ones that are on 300k a week, Bruno, Rashford, Casemiro, are the worst players. Were probably the worst players on the field. They were the worst players on the field. The guys who are getting the most money were the worst players on the field. I'm expecting Bruno to create, or at least be sensible, or was the captain to try and go to the team. Petulant, non-existent in that game. Didn't create nada, and didn't even help the midfield to try and gain some control. And Rashford, enough said. I don't know whether it is, maybe there's something in this contract. I don't know, because I have a feeling there must be something in this contract, because I don't know why he keeps on getting picked. There must be something in his contract that says I have to play a certain amount of games or certain games. Because to play Rashford on the left to accommodate makes no sense. Or if you were going to drop, you should have dropped Garnacho and played an actual right wing in Ahmad. Instead, you dropped Ahmad, who is right now our best right winger, to accommodate Marcus Rashford. I don't get it. So, you know, that's a brief summary. I mean, I could go through it, and we will go do some player ratings in a second. I'm going to read your comments first, and I'll bring bath time in. But like, Ten Hag is, as you say in the title, Ten Hag is on borrowed time. And, you know, I can easily see a situation, because we've been here before, where morale goes down, you know, that, you know, the environment is not great. He goes, and Rude basically takes over for the rest of the season until United find their manager's takeover. That's what I think might happen. You know, Rude takes over, and, you know, and that's it. You know, because trophy, yes, and I've heard Ten Hag's comments. I want trophies and trophies. Yes, okay, I agree. Football is about trophies, but as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said, and I think one of his interviews is like, trophies, yeah, they're ego things to managers. They're important, yes, but you look at the league to actually assess your progress as a team. That's how you can assess your progress. And at the end of the day, you finished 8th last season, Ten Hag. 8th. We got a FA Cup. I'm happy about that. It's a trophy. I remember it. It was important, because the Europa League is probably our only means of getting into the Champions League. I generally don't think United are getting top 4. I already look so far based on what I can see. And based on what I can see, Arsenal, Liverpool, City have already secured top 3 for me. Just like last season. They've already secured top 3. Then it comes to 4th. And then you have to question, is Manchester United better or worse than Spurs, Newcastle, Villa, and Chelsea? Probably they are worse. Probably. Right, let's get into some, let me quick get some comments. I'll get back to me, and then we'll do player ratings, and then I'll go, because I don't really want to spend a lot of time dwelling on United, I'll be quite frank. But big up Mo, one of the members of the channel. Make sure you support the channel. Eric on borrowed time. Yes, he is, buddy. Yes, he is. Very much so, man. Oh, dear. He's on borrowed time. Casemiro, Bruno, Rashford all need to be sold. I don't disagree, but we gave Bruno a new contract. Casemiro is probably gone at some point, and Rashford, he also had a new contract, so I don't know. I don't know. That performance was on par with 570. I actually think so, yeah. I actually think so. And, you know, when a manager, because like I said, you know, it's a bit difficult, because in the midfield, you're like, okay, you know, what do you do? Because you can't play Eriksen. You know, you only have Eriksen and Toby, and Toby's an academy player, so I don't think you should just throw him in just right now. And you have Eriksen, who's washed. So I don't criticize Ten Hag for his selection in the midfield. I do criticize him for selection up top, and I think that hurts us. And I do think that if you, at the very least, if you got that weakness, and you know that's weakness in midfield, you got to be compact. So I don't know why your fullbacks are bombing up and are leaving are leaving gaps in behind. You know, maybe they should invert and come into protect. I don't know. You need to do something. You need to do something. RDS, good evening or bad evening, should I say? I still think Eric needs more time on this in your structure. Guys, half his Ajax team there already. Well, let's see what happens. But the question is whether he'll be given time, because, you know, I don't know, just quickly just make this point. Let me just quickly show United's fixtures. Geez, 14th, man. So here, okay, next week. Oh no, not next week. The week after, because international break. Away to Southampton. United should win that. They should. If they don't, you might as well sack him now. If you can't beat bottom place Southampton, you might as well sack him. Barnsley in the EFL, again at home, should be a win. Get through to the third round, and then Crystal Palace away. You got to try and win that, because if you win these 3 games together, the bounce, you at least build some momentum. Then you've got Trent in the Europa League. Again, United should win that, and then you've got Spurs at home. If you can win all 5 of those games, then maybe you can start salvaging things. Maybe you can start to build momentum, because then you've got Porto away, you've got Villa away, and then Brentford, Fenerbahce. Big up Fred and Mourinho. That'd be an interesting reunion. And then you got basically West Ham away and Chelsea at home. They're going to be a bit tough. Although, to be honest, West Ham haven't really impressed me so far this season. I've never rated Lopetegui, to be honest, you know. So, and then you've got Chelsea at home. And under no circumstances should we be losing to Chelsea at home. Just no. So it's not like it's over, but I can easily see a scenario where if Ten Hag loses to Palace, you know, and then loses to Spurs and loses to Villa, he's gone by November time. You know, so there is a way. There is definitely a way. So I go back. Let me go with these. 11 likes. Yeah, get those likes button up, please. Get those like buttons up. Where's the fire passion? I don't know. That for me was so when I talk about the team, that for me was the biggest issue of the team, was that it's Liverpool, it's your rival. There was nothing. I mean, Lisandro was getting pissed off, etc. You know, so but there was nothing. There was nothing. When Casemiro was at Real Madrid, Kroos would drop back and help him when they would be pressed, and Kroos would switch to play. Modric well times. Casey would push up the pitch. Casey can't. He can't. But the thing is, I don't think he can even do his role now, because you see, Kroos would drop back and help him. Mainoo was doing that. You know, Mainoo was effectively. I mean, he didn't have a great game today, but Mainoo was effectively doing the DM role and also trying to switch up play and progress the ball. Like, because at times it is Mainoo that is more deep than Casemiro. You know, so he's got Mainoo with him, but he can't do. But the thing is, Casemiro can't do what he used to do. Should be attacking with a risk going. Casemiro, I don't know. I don't know. Ten Hag setup doesn't allow him to do this with Casemiro. Sit down and I'm really covered up his flaws. Yep, 2 goals conceded, 2 goals scored, 5 conceded. Well, there you go. 3 goals against. But the thing is, Matty, that's not because the defense is the problem. We're not scoring enough goals. We've conceded less chances last season, but we're not clinical ourselves. You know, 3 games, only 2 goals. Barely scored against Fulham. Ahmad's goal against Thingy. That's it. Barely. Once again, midfield parts like the Red Sea, forwards ineffective. Liverpool didn't really have to try for their goals. Practically or gift. Exactly. It makes it worse. Where's Matt's right for the score? It's because he's being told. I'm for Matt's. I don't. You know, the first goal. I don't blame Matt's. I still blame Cat. That's all Casemiro. Don't lose the ball there. I'm sorry. Don't lose the ball there. But he's being told. This is the thing. It must be coaching, because the fullbacks, even against Brighton, when we conceded that goal, it was like, how do we concede that goal? And the only thing I can think of is that the fullbacks, Casemiro, etc., they're being told to bomb up. So we're in we don't have the ball. The defenders are being told, be ready to counter. It's almost like they're being coached, be ready to counter, be ready to counter. Ooh. That's me. That's my TV. Ooh. Sorry, 1 second. Be ready to counter. Be ready to counter. It doesn't make sense, bro. The problem is every time look the Barca this season and last season. What difference between the coaches? I mean, yeah, I mean, big up Hansi Flick, but I don't necessarily know that Hansi Flick comes in, and this is what I would say in defense of Ten Hag. I'm not defending him. Is that we've been here before, and when Ollie was sacked, people said and looked to Ten Hag and like, well, look at what he's doing at XX team. Look at the pattern of play. Look at what he's done. He's far better than Ollie. He'll come in and do his thing. So I don't want to make the mistake that people make. They'll go, well, look at Slot. What they're doing this is because those teams have different players, different structure. And the reality is Barcelona and Liverpool were far ahead of even Arne. Oh, look at what he's doing. Liverpool finished third last season. Okay, they finished well above us. So they were already, their team was already, it's not like Liverpool and United were the same. Liverpool were already eons ahead of Manchester United. And Arne just basically is just a good coach who's obviously coaching to and improving and building on what he has. We needed to reduce the gap. Liverpool were there. United were here. We need to reduce the gap. All that's happened is that we've basically gone down and Liverpool have gone up again. Eric Ball, so Coutinho, Bit Coutinho says Eric Ball be sat in the latest. Eric Ball Sims even admit to want to survive. What style of play? To be fair, there is actually a style of play. It's just it's not working. Like if you look at the interview that Arne Slot did, he perfectly described Manchester United's tactics. Right, so there's a style of play, there's tactics, but just that it's not good. You know, I definitely knew even today what United were trying to do. It just wasn't good. It wasn't right. Arne Slot is very better than probably. I mean, he would. Ten Hag spent 560 million, and you're further away from Ollie. Well, there you go. Barcelona, Liverpool, examples of what difference coach. Yes, as I said, I don't think you compare the two. So Barcelona and Liverpool are far ahead of where basically United are. So even if I just think you just can't compare like with like. If Slot and Flick came in, will they make a difference? I don't know. Because you still have because you still have Casemiro, you still have Rashford, you still have Bruno on contracts, and you still have to do stuff with them. I don't know what manager comes in, and because maybe a different manager comes in, maybe it's a talk. I don't know. Are you Eric to win or on the fence league? I don't even have to say Ten Hag in or out. Like, he'll sack himself. If he keeps on doing this, he'll sack himself potentially. And Ineos have obviously created it in such a way that Ruud is there. So if things still go down this way, he'll be sacked, and Ruud will be assistant coach until the end of the season, until Ineos make a decision. Simple as that. And I'm not bothered either way particularly. Ruud's actually, to be fair, when he was coaching, was actually all right at. Was it where was Ruud coaching? Was he coaching at? I'm trying to remember the Dutch team that he coached. It wasn't PSV, FC Trent. Someone in the chat remind me what team was Ruud coaching in Holland? I love Agate, but he can't cover the width and time picture of his own. Agate, to be honest, the big thing, and I had PSG Anti on the show about this, a PSG fan, is that Agate is a destroyer, and Agate is faster than Casemiro, and he might allow Mainu to go a bit forward and dictate play a bit. But Agate is not that great on the ball. He's not that great on the ball. So if anyone is expecting technical brilliance from Agate, they're going to be disappointed. He's there. He's basically there to be a destroyer, but that's about it. Your attackers woeful. Your best attack in Ahmad and Zirkzee. Best attackers are mid at best. I don't disagree there. RDS, do you think Zirkzee will become good? Yeah, he will be good, but I think Højlund will be the starter number 9. And I don't think Zirkzee is a striker. He's a number 10. That's what he is. I'm asked Andrew, no question for emoji. Yeah, it's not good. It's a big up minds as well as watching on Twitch as well. Jonathan David, hey, I wouldn't mind. He can bring. I would not mind. I would not mind for reasonable fee minds. I would not mind. Anyway, Amel has done nothing problem score a goal. Bang average Amel. I mean, compared to, if we're talking about the forwards that we have, he's still better than the forwards that we have. You know, like Eddie, he is. he's right now. He's our best right winger. Anstey's hasn't done anything. Rashford has been worse, and Garnacho has tried. You know, so he scored a goal, but you got to understand, Eddie, we've only scored 2 goals. we've only scored 2 goals. We've only scored 2 goals. So that's most of what we've done here. It's written in the stars that Rude will be the interim manager next season. I don't think he'll be. I don't think they'll make him manager, but interim potentially. And to be fair, that's probably a good appointment because Rude at least has got some decent coaching experience. Let's have a look. Liverpool were that good. Final ball. Well, this is the thing. If we look at the stats, sorry, I'm buffed. I know you're waiting. I'll bring you in. Look at the stats, guys. Just look at these stats here. And this is why stats are deceiving. This is why stats are deceiving. Because if you look at these stats and you didn't watch the game, you'd go, okay, United have 8 shots. Liverpool have 11, but they both have 3 on target and United have more possession. So you look at that and go, this should be at least a balanced game. Maybe Liverpool 1-0 given the more overall shots. But if you actually watch the game, there was no way after 20 minutes that Liverpool were in trouble or in fear or what have you. They won the game with an overall percentage of 47% less possession and the same shots, but they were clinical. 3 shots, 3 goals. Didn't have to have a lot of possession, so not like, like Pep, like tick-tack move around. They were clinical, and their passing, and also less passes. I know I don't believe the pass accuracy stats, but they had overall less passes, but those passes were far more accurate, far more precise than ours were. So this is why stats so often you can't trust stats. People really compared. Yes. I am worried about Crystal Palace beating us. I am. Chelsea is better than Manchester United. They are. I hate to say it, but Chelsea are better than United. But they're better than United, in my opinion, because Chelsea's attack in talent is better. I don't think defensively they're better. Midfield-wise is probably 50-50. Because I still think Caicedo and Enzo aren't that great. And obviously, Ugarte will come in for United. But attack-wise, that's where Chelsea have got United beaten. When you can pick from Palmer, João Felix, Pedro Neto, you've now got Sancho now. Madueke is doing anything. Even if you plus or minus Nico, they've got so many more. Obviously there's Mudryk there, etc. They've got so many attacking options that are good, and United really don't have that. They don't. I see some of the comments, guys, but it was PSV. It was PSV. Oh, bang, yeah, it was PSV. It was PSV. So yeah, it was. I had a feeling it was PSV. Yeah. Right, let me bring Bafta in because Bafta's went, and then we'll go to the player ratings. Give me 2 seconds. Let me just do this. Right, Bafta, I know you've been waiting for quite some time.
That's all right.
Thoughts on the game, buddy?
I think, like everyone, I was deeply, deeply unimpressed with every single aspect of the performance. But when I was waiting for you, I made some notes on what you were saying, and I thought like you hit on something quite interesting, which is the use of fullbacks. And the thing that really worried me about it, right, is so in the first half, we're doing a very standard thing, which is dropping Casemiro in next to De Ligt and Martinez. And then we're pushing our fullbacks up into the midfield.
Yeah.
So it should be a 3-4-3. It obviously wasn't working because Casemiro is very erratic with his passing. He doesn't have the ability to play short passes. He doesn't like play a short pass, see a bit of space, move into it, so on. Immobile, poor use. We saw Casemiro get done twice from this tactical setup. One, a dreadful mistake, and the other a terrible mistake as well, because he let, you understand physiology. When you're playing football, you do not let a man get his leg across your hip, or it's game over. Like that's all the best defenders do. But my issue is what happened to Kobe in the second half, where Kobe got pinched for the third goal, and we changed our setup for that, where Delot had inverted next to him, and Toby Collier had gone into more of an 8 role with Rashford like left wing and Mazraoui making the back three. So this is Ten Hag trying to adjust the game. But every goal came from a mistake from a player in a central area.
Yeah, true.
I'm extremely worried about this because it shows to me that Ten Hag didn't have the answers for Liverpool's really standard plan of basically like bum rushing whoever was on the ball in the centre. And for me, this is deeply concerning, RDS. What do you think?
I mean, I guess you got to be thinking, does Zirkzee come and change this? I mean, that's the only thing that I can think, because I look at this team right now and I think, right, aside from in terms of like who comes in personnel wise, because tactically I don't know what he's going to do, but personnel wise, aside from maybe Højlund coming in for Zirkzee, and Ugarte maybe coming in for Casemiro, that is basically the team. Okay, I guess maybe you play Shaw if whenever he decides to come back from an injury or whatever, as a fullback potentially, but going forward, that is going to be the team. So I mean, I don't know whether you watched the post-match on Sky when Arne Slot basically explains the whole thing of how he sets up to, and I was just thinking, like, yeah, that's exactly what I saw. So in my mind, it was like, so if Arne saw, based on what he saw, how Manchester United played in the previous games, and then used that knowledge to basically expose Ten Hag, why didn't Ten Hag see it?
Yeah, that's the issue, isn't it? Because so when you talked about Ugarte, then like does Ugarte change it? I think it's a no, because we had two central midfielders getting pinched, right? One Casemiro, one Kobe. Kobe is by far our best ball player.
True.
Like we saw it all game, good in tight spaces. He's got that boy can do anything he wants with a football. So was that the result, him getting pinched, of a hospital ball, or is it a structural issue?
It's both. It's both because one, at the end of the day, I don't care what anyone says, Kobe Mainoo was still only 19 years old, and basically, as you rightfully said, we were heavily reliant on him for the second part of last season. He basically carried the England midfield during the summer because Southgate didn't know what he was doing, and now we're relying on him yet again to do the same thing. So from your first point, I just think that Kobe's going to make mistakes because he's young and he's being, in my opinion, he's being overplayed. I'm not saying he shouldn't play, but I'm saying that when you consider like how much football he's actually played, but more importantly, how reliant that Ten Hag and even Southgate were on him, what he was trying to do, it's worrying. And the worst thing the thing potentially that I see in this season is that he gets overplayed and he picks up an injury. And if Mainoo picks up an injury, we are definitely screwed. The midfield is definitely, with Ugarte or not Ugarte, we are absolutely screwed if Kobe Mainoo picks up an injury.
It's Ericsson time.
You know, it's I don't know what to say. You know, so you know.
So you're worried about burnout with Mainoo, because it's not, for me, it's not just the game time, which I agree with you is too much. It's the spaces that he has to cover.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
In my opinion, and now you are definitely the expert on this, I'm of the belief, from like my sort of pragmatic experience, that you need 6 weeks of like sort of volume training to build the endurance needed for a season. Right? Kobe hasn't had that. He, you know, got to the final of the whatever it was, the Euros, and we're asking him to do so much running. And if Ugarte comes in, I don't think that lessens the running on Kobe. I think it's just another body running, because we know there aren't enough back there. But I agree with you on that. But what I'm interested about is, you said it was both. When I said, is it a hospital ball or is it a structural issue? I'll just pause for a second.
Yeah. So, sorry, let me just quickly I see the super chat from James. So I've not seen you for ages. Bro. You know, so they said, I told you, RDS slot ball as well. Big up Chainsaw, man. I mean, like I said, I can't hate. Like, Slaughter's obviously clearly, and you know, I said, I think beforehand, that if Liverpool have a convincing win at Old Trafford, then you can't sleep on Liverpool potentially being one up there for the title. You know, I still think City are favourites, definitely, by all means. But given that Liverpool in the Champions League, given what they're doing now, like, you can't write off Liverpool in the Champions League, and you can't in the Premier League as well. They are doing very, very well. So 3 wins out of 3, comfortable wins as well. I bet the first one, I mean, to make matters worse, I think, because their first game was against, I think, Ipswich. Even Ipswich, they struggled. You know, they eventually, Liverpool did win, but Ipswich at least made it difficult for them. Like, at no point after 20 minutes did I feel that that United made it difficult for Liverpool. Like, I think when they played against Ipswich, I think it was Ipswich. Yeah, Ipswich. It was actually harder for Liverpool. Like, but anyway, yeah. But shout out to you. But yeah, in answer to your question, I also think I do think it's a structure issue as well. But I guess my thing is, I don't know right now, at least coming on to Ten Hag, how to fix it with the personnel that we have. Whether you know, do we try and become more compact and maybe revert to a back 3, and maybe that changes it? I don't know. Can we do that so far in this right now in the season? Maybe you need to do it early in the season to make a change. So you don't. I don't know. You know. But the thing is, Ten Hag is stubborn, and you know, would you be surprised if the following game against Southampton we come back, he picks essentially, because I don't think Højlund is going to be back, he's going to pick the same starting 11, isn't he?
I think Ugarte might be in the next.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. Ugarte will. Well, you hope that Ugarte will be in. So, but yeah, I would. Aside from because Ugarte will play, and then you hope that, because if Ugarte comes in and structurally things don't change, then I honestly don't know, because like I said, Ten Hag comes across to me as someone that not only in game but also from game to game seems to be quite stubborn and wants things to work, and even in game he doesn't really react to change that much. Like, even in the first half, you know, to be honest, you could have made a case. I mean, maybe it's bad for his morale, but you could have made a case that after the first goal that Casemiro conceded, that you could have probably made the substitution right there and then to try and change things, because they already had the ball in the net when which was offside. That was the first warning shot. Then the goal happened, but the setup was still the same. What did you expect was going to happen? You know, so, but yeah, sorry, go on.
So I've got one last question to ask you, which is about the performance of Joshua Zirkzee.
Fine.
I think we can all agree he definitely should have scored 2 goals.
True.
Like, and for me, a Manchester United striker would have scored the one that Alisson tipped around the post.
True.
Are you like, what did you think to his performance? And are you a little bit worried?
Well, the thing is, I never thought when we bought him, and from what I saw, because I spoke to a few Bayern fans because in the academy, so I was there on the impression that Josh Zirkzee is not a striker. Like he's sort of, so when he says kind of a 9.5 sort of thing, it's like, okay, yeah, he's more of a 10/trader type sort of thing. Like he's not Højlund, he's not Kane, he's not Haaland, sorry, he's not Kane. He's not Aguero. He's not Nistelrooy. He's not a striker.
It's not a bags man.
Sorry,
it's not a bags man.
No. I think Højlund is more of a striker than him. So for me, Joshua Zirkzee was always going to be like, right, okay, makeshift. Højlund was actually going to be the number 9, but Joshua Zirkzee is one who can maybe potentially chip and get a goal. Makeshift guy who could maybe you could maybe play in a support striker role, maybe cover the wing, etc. Someone who's kind of like adaptable, as opposed to someone who you're going to rely on to score 20 goals a season. And I've had a long piece on the fact that like I still don't quite understand why Manchester United didn't prioritize getting an actual proper number 9 in this window. It is what it is. But we did that. Same thing with getting a left back and arguably a more possessive ball playing midfielder. Because I don't think we replaced Pogba, for example. I still think a position like that we don't have that type of player. But back on Zirkzee, it's not so much that I'm worried. It's just much that like I don't. It's like, what is it that we're wanting? Are we wanting him to be a striker? Because if we're wanting him to be a striker, then yeah, he's got a lot of work to do. Because he hasn't been, that's not been his game for at least the last couple of seasons. He's scored goals, don't get me wrong, but he's not been expected to carry the goal load of the team. So essentially, what I'm saying is, in an ideal world, Joshua Zirkzee is the type of player where if you got like in a Liverpool side where you've got Diaz chipping in goals, Salah chipping in goals, Trent chipping in goals. What's his name? Nunes chipping in goals, then Joshua Zirkzee could chip in goals. That's for me how Joshua Zirkzee works. But if it's like no, we're relying on you to score 18, 20 plus goals in all competitions to be our striker for this season, I don't think he's that guy. I don't think he's that guy.
I agree. Like I think that like the way he was sold to us was that Zirkzee would be someone who would drop into the midfield to congest it, keep us a little bit more compact. His pressing work would be good, but mostly he would be a facilitator in the same way someone like Firmino was.
Yes.
And so with Firmino, he scored like 8 goals at Liverpool at Anfield the year they won it and stuff, but Salah and Mane scored a bucket load. What really concerned me about the performance today is basically every chance went to Zirkzee and it was Rashford creating for him when I thought it would be the other way round.
Yes.
And if you sign a player who has, I think, 50 goals in 200 games, 1 in 4, that's not, and that's, it's in Italy. It's good defensive league, but nothing like the Premier League.
Yes.
I find that extremely troublesome from both the recruitment, but most importantly, the manager, because we've got like Garnacho scored twice against City. Well, he scored, once in the FA Cup, once in the Charity Shield. Yeah. Like Ahmad. Oh, and to your point on Ahmad, why he wasn't starting, I think it's important to remember that he lost his stepmother. Last week.
Of course.
There might be some context to that, but he definitely played better than Garnacho. But I'm a bit worried about how we're using Zirkzee, because I thought he was going to be a bit like, who's a famous player like him? Like Benzema. Benzema would come in, link, be unselfish, drop off, play little passes. With Zirkzee, I saw a really poor performance in front of goal, a dreadful performance in his pressing work, His touch looked poor. He didn't really combine with everyone. And, you know, him and Bruno are meant to be the guys making chances. And Rashford, who got booed by, you know, the South Stand, he put 2 on a plate for Zirkzee today.
He did.
And
he did.
I don't know. I don't know what you think about that, but it worries me.
No, he did. I mean, but this is what I'm saying is that, like, that's what I don't really want to go in on Zirkzee per se, because I just think that I agree with you. I just think that we'll get to play ratings in a second, guys. And I'll come back to your comments. Chainsaw, if you want to come on, I pinned the streamer links. You can come on and give your Liverpool perspective. But I agree with you, but that's what I don't really want to go in on Zirkzee that much, because
this is more about the manager and like
exactly.
the way the team was set up than Zirkzee. Exactly.
It's the idea that, you know, ironic enough, I don't know whether, for example, Mason Mount being injured today, whether that played a role, because maybe if Mount was fit, does he do the whole false? Because this is the first time we started with doing a number 9 situation. So I don't know whether if Mount was fit, whether Ten Hag would have said, I'm going to do the whole false 9 sort of thing. We're playing, was it Rashford and Ahmad, or Rashford and Garnacho up top, and Mason Mount will press. So maybe that was what Ten Hag's original plan was. And so because he couldn't do that, he had to play Zirkzee. Maybe that might have been it. So who knows? But at this point, I'll be honest, I don't think we can rely on the likes of Shaw or Mount anymore. Like, they're picking up way too many injuries. So as far as I'm concerned, they're not, I know this sounds harsh, but they're not part of the squad because they're not available. If you can't play at least 5 games in a row for Manchester United, as far as I'm concerned, you're not in the squad. It just is what it is. You know, if you can't start 5 games for Manchester United and at least play 50 to 60 minutes, you're not in the squad.
And to be fair, Johnny Evans was doing that injured last season.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so at the end of the day, you know, I just think that, and also, you know, I just think that with to end up with Joshua Zirkzee is that people I think are expecting him to. If people are generally expecting, this guy's here. If people are generally expecting him to be clinical and score tons of goals, that's just not going to happen. And I didn't think that was going to happen. And if anything, I thought, maybe this might be a signal that Rashford might sort of potentially be on his way out, because then, you know, you have Højlund, maybe get another striker, and then you can have Zirkzee, you can come in and create and do his thing. You know, off the left potentially, you know, so Garnacho, and then you've got Ahmad, etc. And you have someone who can sort of dip into. You're starting Ahmad and Garnacho. You've got Højlund. Okay, you're going to get Sancho to go, so you know he's going to Chelsea. So you've got Zirkzee in here, and he's the one that can basically come in, chip in a few goals, be adaptable. Maybe he can play striker if we get a striker that's injured. Maybe he can play on the left, etc. Or maybe he can, if we go into a drop into 2, he can be a support striker. That was his thing, but it was never, he's going to be the guy that's going to somehow score tons of goals. You know, that was
right.
the thing.
I'll leave you with this, right?
Yeah.
For the last 3 seasons, we have failed to score over 60 goals.
Yeah.
Do you think that getting like a striker who can chip in a little bit was the right idea? If, you know, considering that under Ollie we scored 102 goals in the lockdown season. It's a crazy signing to me to go for that profile in a team that lacks goals.
The irony is, the reality is that we had before, you know, I remember the Ollie season, you know, that Ollie season where like we almost had an abundance. You know, you had Cavani, you had Ronaldo, you had Martial, you had Greenwood, you had Rashford, and we had Sancho. Like we had an insane amount of attacking options there, and yes, you could argue that 1 or 2 of them could have gone, etc. But you were still left with like 3 or 4 that could have done something. And somehow we've gone from having that abundance, you know. And I appreciate Ronaldo and Cavani have moved on, and obviously the Greenwood situation I've said, so I'm not going into that. But the point is, at the time, the attacking options were there. We've gone from that to Højlund. You know, but essentially relying on kids in Ahmad, you know, Garnacho, Højlund. They're all kids. They're not experienced strikers, not experienced forwards. They're children, And then our most experienced winger, because obviously Martial's gone now, most experienced forward is Marcus Rashford, who's approaching 20, he's 27, and who's arguably the worst out of them all. You know,
it make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. Like I don't know why it should have been a priority. Manchester, we've got enough children, experimental type of thing. We should have gone from an experienced, you know. That's why, you know, even with the whole Sterling thing, to be honest, I'm not saying, but I wasn't adverse to it.
Me neither.
Predominantly because I was like, we're letting Sancho go. We've got at least experience. I'm not saying he's going to be great, but I don't think Sterling can be as worse as Rashford.
Can also play with a false 9.
And you can also, exactly. You know, so but at least there's experience there. You know, I mean, and if it's just going to be a loan, because Arsenal it's just a loan for Arsenal. Hey, it's a loan, no obligation to buy. There you go. If that was the case, why not? Hey, is half a salary, whatever, for a loan, no obligation to buy. Happy days. You've got some more experience there. Someone who can potentially score goals. You know, so. But anyway, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
No worries, man.
You must come on the agenda soon.
I will.
Goodbye, everyone. Like and subscribe.
Thanks, Bath Time. Take care, man. Take care. Peace, 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 peace. Right. Okay. Before I round off, Chainsaw. Long time Chainsaw. As a Liverpool fan who's obviously very, very happy, and as I begin to round up, do you want to give your thoughts on the game and slots and Liverpool's chances, etc.?
Perfect. Can you hear me? Just to make sure.
I can hear you, unfortunately.
It's been a long time. Oh, yes.
I know. For some reason, I didn't see you after the FA Cup game. I didn't see that part. But it's okay. It's okay. Listen, that was last season.
Work's very busy.
It's okay. That's okay. It's okay. That's okay. Right. Go on.
One thing I'll say is Sterling. You just mentioned Sterling joining, and you weren't too against the idea. I understand you do need experience up top, but I would say Rashford should have enough experience to carry the attack now. He should be the man. And I do think he did create 2 chances, which was like...
He did. But Rashford's been a bum all year, man. Like, it's the thing. My frustration with Rashford is not based on necessarily his performance just today. Mm-hmm. My frustration with Rashford is that he's been like this almost since the beginning of the year. And now the expectation that people are saying is that, like, he's created 2 chances. Like, okay, but you played almost 90 minutes for the last 3 games. What have you done? None of what you've done. The goals came and the assists came in the last 2 games from Garnacho, Ahmad, and obviously Zirkzee scored the goal. Like,
I see.
So I'm not saying that, like, obviously Rashford doesn't create in a game. He might create 1 or 2 chances. I'm not, or do something. I'm not saying he doesn't. But it's his overall performance that you've got to bear in mind. So this guy's now on 300k a week now. So I don't expect. So my expectation for when I judge the players, I always think about the age, when have they come to the club, how long they've been and what their wages are on. So for example, someone like Mainu, he's just 19, he's not on a high wage, he's one of the most talented players. I'm not going to even if in today's game it wasn't that great, I'm not going to go at him because fundamentally he's still better than all of the midfield players for starters. And 2, he's young, he's academy, he's not on, Mainu is probably on about like a 30,000-40,000 pounds a week or something.
But here's the thing, right? You with Ten Hag, his time's up at your club. Yeah, he should have settled Sancho's beef, whatever the situation he had with Sancho, and kept Sancho in the squad. If you can't get the best out of Sancho, that was an indication that this guy is too arrogant, in my opinion, to be managing young players. I don't know what went wrong exactly. Maybe Sancho was at fault. But look, you lose Sancho and you don't, in my opinion, replace him properly. There should have been someone who should have came in. I mean,
I'll be honest, Shinso. I'll be honest. I don't think I'm not that peeved with the whole Sancho thing because, to be honest, even prior to him coming over, I I'm not one of those United fans that thinks that if Sancho was at the club, that Sancho would be the savior. Because to be honest, under Ollie and even Ragnick, I didn't think Sancho didn't really do anything to me that was like, oh, this guy is amazing or whatever.
Yeah, but Ragnick and Ollie weren't good managers, and Ten Hag's meant to be.
No, Ragnick is a good manager. Ragnick is definitely a good
but
manager.
he's not levels. Let's just play it. He's not slot levels. So we have to like analyze the game properly, and you know, and you have to be honest. The way the interplay between our players, I know they know each other already, but Slot, you can see the differences between Slot and Klopp football. The slight differences, and you can see Slot has immediately implemented his ways. Yeah, we have better players than you do, but let's not act like United don't have talent in that squad.
You have much better players than we do.
Yeah, no, but you still have talent in that squad.
Who? Where?
Everywhere.
Where?
Where's Bruno Fernandes? He's got talent. Obviously, we already
mentioned. No. What did you say, Chainsaw?
Bruno Fernandes has talent.
Right. Okay. I wish I had a brick option. I need to get these. I need to get these things. How does he do them? I'll ask them how to get them because let me get those videos.
So wait, you're saying your squad overall? Obviously, you rate Mainu, for example. He's got talent. You got you got talent in De Ligt, even though he's new to the league.
I don't have any issue. I don't have the issue with the defense. The defense was fine. The defense is not the reason why United lost today. The reason why United lost today is that we had a midfield that was in bounds and didn't work and kept on ceding chances to Liverpool because we lost. All our goals came from the centre of the park, and we had an attack that was basically toothless. And the as Bath Time said before, and big up on top is that United did in the last 2 or 3 seasons have failed to score more than 60 plus goals in all competitions. One of the things that I admired about Klopp in his first season when he came is that even though, you were conceding goals, last minute goals, etc., you were still scoring loads of goals.
That's true.
So it was like, okay, so just fix it with defense, but you were still creating and scoring tons of goals.
But you have Ahmed and Garnacho in that attack as well. There's enough for Ten Hag to actually.
But we go back to Hoying again. But Ahmed and Garnacho are not going to start together, are they? Though.
Of course not. But even if Garnacho starts the game, you could see that there is ability in him to at least score or at least create a chance in that attack. It's just
if he could play in his actual position, which is left wing, then I agree with you. Instead of actually being forced to play right wing, which is not his position.
Then Rashford has to, Rashford has to bench.
I one of the biggest things, that I've said, is that I don't really know this Rashford obsession. I don't know what's going on about it, but it certainly is a situation where he could die on his hill. And as Atonement said, Rashford creating 2 chances on 300k a week in 90 minutes isn't enough.
It reminds me of the Martial situation where you guys have kept hyping up Martial for many, many years. And obviously us Liverpool fans were highlighting the fact that he only has one highlight for you guys. Rashford is that type of player where United fans hyped him.
But at least with Martial, I can be like, okay, because the guy was picking up loads of injuries and stuff like that. And after that, he never. So I can, if someone is injury prone, I can always say, okay, well, they had that potential, but the injuries and they can't go as hard. So fair enough. Because I do think Martial was talented before he started picking up injuries regularly. Rashford, on the other hand, I just have no. And the thing is that Martial was also dropped. He wasn't playing all the time. When Cavani and Ronaldo and Greenwood and all the rest of it, when they were there and doing those things, Martial wasn't playing all the time. So alternatives. Rashford is playing all the time.
Yeah, that's the thing. Ten Hag needs to bench him. I mean, you know more about United because you watch them week in, week out compared to me. And I only watch, obviously, the big games when United play. And I could see there's clear problems that he starts with in the beginning of the game. And then when it comes to substitutions and second half, he tries to sort it out too late, far too late. Hence why you guys lost your last game and obviously this game as well. And it's just, I've seen United fans mention that why does Ten Hag, he always starts the game poorly and then tries to develop the game and try to save the game in the second half and so forth.
I don't know.
He starts the wrong players.
I would argue that I think for the first 20 minutes, actually, I think Manchester United were okay. I think we started aggressive. I think that surprised, and even Slot said in his personal interview that he was surprised by that. But I think the big thing was that, and I said at the time, was I was weirdly worried about how open the game was. Like I was like, this is too open. I know we're at home, we need to entertain, but this is still too open. We need to kind of at least try and begin to control the game. After a while, when you guys started passing and especially one-touch passing being quickly, I was like, okay, this is starting to get worrying now. You know, because you started to get into your groove, and United were chasing shadows and getting tired. And Casemiro looked freaking leggy. After 30 minutes, I was seeing this guy being like, I'm exhausted. And Rajat says, let Hoy and Malacia, Euro and Mount get back. Well, I don't really think Euro would have changed anything today. And I think De Ligt and Lisandro were fine. Mount
won't do anything.
The only thing I think with Mount do is that Mount was probably a better press of the ball than Zirkzee. So maybe that might have, but you know, you can't. You know, if you're going to play Mount and Bruno together, then you lose your 9, and then who's going to score the goals? So this is the problem. So personally, for me, I still, and I've said this, you can't play Mount and Bruno together. Pick one.
That's true. And also with Højlund and Zirkzee, I think they're very similar players. I don't think they're prolific strikers that you need as a number 9. And I don't like the comparison between Zirkzee and Firmino. I think there's levels to this game. Zirkzee can't turn the ball, can't turn on the ball on a sixpence, as they would say. He can't take on a man. He can't, do that through ball.
Well, I mean, these guys.
Eye of the needle ball.
The thing is, these guys are still young, though. This is the thing. Højlund and Zirkzee, these guys. This is the problem. Is that, like, and I said this, is that people expect on these guys. We shouldn't be the Manchester United attack should not be led by kids. There should be experience. It should be experience there. So with proper coaching and with leadership, then potentially they can develop. But you can't have the entire front line. I'm not talking about you have Garnacho, but then you have the other two players, positional players, Bruno. Like the entire front line is under 21.
That's true. I see experience is needed. But look, Zirkzee, I'm watching him. Give me 5 minutes to watch him, which I did. And I was like, this guy is like so slow. He's so not technical on the ball. So I don't understand this Firmino comparison. Mentioning Firmino's name is a disrespect because the kid. I know he's a kid, but no, he's a kid. But look, where's the ball control? Where's the the passing ability? We're comparing him to one of the greats.
I appreciate that. I also know that last season in the FA Cup, Ahmad scored the 4th goal and Liverpool got knocked out. We can't have everything. We can't have everything.
Yeah, Ahmad's not that good. He's not that good. Like Harvey Elliott's better than him. And Harvey Elliott's in our reserves.
Okay, now you're trolling, Chainsaw.
No, I'm not. Look, I can see technique. There's no technique in your players, in your young players. Minus mainly when
Ahmad scored the and then
no. Hold on. Mainu was the reason why you guys did well that second half of the season. But here's the thing: you don't want to overhype him, like you said. You don't want to overplay him. You don't want to constantly put pressure on Mainu to be the guy to save United.
Mainu was carrying the England midfield. Let alone
no. I heard that comment and I was like, that's an absolute disgrace.
Why is that a disgrace?
He did a decent job, but England played poorly in every single game. Who
were the England players in that team that were better than Mainu?
All the England players were pretty bad.
Okay, but if you had to name 3 England players that were better than Mainu, because they still got to a final. Remember, they still got to a final.
To be fair,
players that were better?
Look, I remember each game England were lucky to go through. They were poor in each game of the Euros. Mainu was probably better than most players on that pitch for England, but Southgate and the English players, it was so boring to watch. I've forgotten most of the Euros. I've forgotten the Euros happened this summer. That was an absolute drag.
Okay, so you agree he carried the midfield?
No. The carried is a strong word. It's a strong football term. You can't use that term.
You have to carry the midfield if you're getting to a final, because at the end of the day, it's not context. Before he was there, England were getting bullied in the midfield and overran by Slovenia and Southgate's experiment of trying to play Trent in the midfield didn't work. You know, this whole Trent as a midfielder nonsense that needs to stop. You know,
here's the thing. Ryan Gravenberch, let's talk about today's game and let's talk about Liverpool now. He absolutely toyed with Manu. He taught him a lesson. And Gravenberch isn't that old. Okay? We showed you levels in every part of the pitch. The disrespect our midfield was getting with United fans, with Arsenal fans and so forth is unreal. McAllister is world class, as you can see. He's levels above any of your midfielders. Bruno Fernandes, for example, levels above that kid. So Bozalai, he's a talent, but he should have made it 4-0. I swear he needs to be benched.
Guys, calm down in the chat, okay? Guys, calm down in the chat, okay? Calm down in the chat, otherwise I'll start timing people out, okay? So please calm down in the chat. No arguments or anything like that. I know people are frustrated, but don't start throwing insults and stuff like that.
Keep it respectful.
So calm down. People keep being respectful. So this is the thing about football. Like people, this is the thing about like. So at the end of the day, it is just football. It's just a game. And one of the things Manchester United fans have been toxic is that people seem to just blame. Oh, it's your fault. It's your fault. It's like it's not any fan's fault because fans aren't in control of managerial, player, or structural decisions.
Yeah.
Okay, they're not. Okay, so please don't go around blaming whether you're Ten Hag in or Ten Hag out or whatever it is. Like it doesn't make a difference because ultimately the decision will be made by the hierarchy, i.e. Ineos, and when it comes to tactics and strategies, that is going to be made by Ten Hag and the ability that comes from the players themselves. It's not on the fans. Okay, relax.
That's facts. But here's the thing. Look, the Liverpool team, you need to praise them. We dominated the game. 20 minutes, obviously, you did well, end-to-end stuff. Yeah. But you have to start respecting, like, our Gravenberch, McAllister, Salah, obviously, but we don't need to mention Salah. You knew what he was going to do. It's his backyard. It's his second home. He destroys you guys once again. Look at the stats. Right, it's absolutely fantastic. And then Luis Diaz, who's been getting questioned in our team, who's literally being questioned. People thought Anthony Gordon should replace him, right? Luis Diaz is showing why he is a top talent, why he deserves to start left wing for Liverpool. And obviously, as you see in the rest of our team, Alisson, you don't need to mention the rest of the players. Konate absolutely bossed your whole team. He brought fear to your team. That's Konate for you. So you have to respect that as well. And look at Trent. He's going to sign a contract as well. Van Dijk's going to sign a contract. Salah, he's already said his statements.
Okay, you know. So I appreciate. I'm not even doubting the fact that like Liverpool are light years ahead of. So I guess my question is because I've got to round up now for you. A chainsaw, and even for the chat, you know. So is like where does Ten Hag go from here? Where do Manchester United go from here? Because it's still only 3 games into the season, obviously international break, and the international break's a period of time to reset. So what is it that Manchester United need to do? What does Ten Hag? Because I'll tell you what, Ten Hag is not going to get sacked now. So there's no point in about Ten Hag gets out of it. He's not going to get sacked. Okay, he's not. So there's no point in talking about sacking when he's not going to get sacked now. So
I could give a realistic answer to that.
Okay,
you get Ugarte into your team, hopefully after obviously the international break, and from there until Christmas we have to see if Ten Hag improves or not, because obviously there are a couple new players like De Ligt, Ugarte, etc., and Zirkzee that need time to get used to the league, get used to the team, get used to the tactics, etc., etc. So obviously 2 L's is massive, and obviously this one is even bigger than a normal defeat that you would get because it's at home, it's against your rival, and so forth. But Ten Hag has got a limited time now until Christmas to save his own job here at Manchester, and also to save Manchester United's season overall. Because obviously you want to challenge for top 4. I'm assuming you want 4th minimum. as one of your targets. And obviously a cup run as well.
Mm.
I don't know if you're in the Europa League. I think.
Yeah, when the Europa League.
Yeah, how times have changed, how things are flipped. The scripts flipped. RDS. Remember when I was in the Europa League and I was getting mocked for it? But anyways, here's the thing. Hopefully you guys do a good run there and lose in the final. But I think you guys could still make it top 4. Ten Hag could still turn it around, but he needs to drop Rashford, play the right players, go front foot from the beginning. You know, I don't know what his philosophy is. I don't know what his tactics are. You probably know more of that. How his style of play. You know, we hate those buzzwords now because what does it mean really?
Yeah, I don't know what style. But people say style of play.
Exactly, but I think
win the game. No,
exactly.
The
Results
best
matter the most.
The manager that wins the game. That's what I see. So
you need Ugarte could be that player that could, you know, change fortunes for Ten Hag, but obviously he needs to do the basics, start the right players from the get-go. And the only worry I have for you is if he does start the right players is Onana. I know he could be a good shot stopper, but is he good enough to, you know, be that goalkeeper with the clutch save to save Ten Hag's, you know, career at Manchester United? He, for me, looks like a very, very average at best goalkeeper.
Wait, hold up for a second. I just missed this comment. What do you mean? Artist, what do you make of saying really? Atonement, I don't believe if he said that. Nah, bro. I don't believe if he said that, the guy's going to get fired on the spot. Ugarte may take months to play. I don't believe that must be. No, he's not injured. If he's injured, then that's a failure on the scouting department because my goodness, how we went and spent all this money. This is especially true when we could have just re-signed Amrabat on the loan, which I don't know why we did. Atonement, I don't believe you.
He said that apparently.
Let me Google this. I don't believe this. I don't believe this, man. I generally don't. Oh, Madrid 2. Oh, Mbappe brace.
Yeah, he scored. Okay. Mbappe scored 2. Apparently got a standing ovation, Mbappe. I'm like, why?
I don't really know why. About to take months to play. Let me have a look.
For some reason, Mbappe doesn't look like the same player, but that's another conversation for another day.
Wait, what?
Ten Hag said it.
Let me have a look. Okay. Eric Ten Hag said he needs time to build his new at Manchester United and claim I'm not okay, Harry Potter, whatever.
Apparently he needs to take months to settle in.
Dutch, he said it's just the third game of the season. We have to build a new team. We have young players. We had 3 players in the first start of the season. They didn't play 90 minutes. Introduced. Ten Hag said, with Ugarte, we have to build him into the team. No, you don't. It will take time. So it's not like I'm Harry Potter. That is what you have to acknowledge.
You said Harry Potter.
Okay.
What?
And if you see Manuel Ugarte, he didn't play so far in this season. Not 1 match minute. So he needs to build his fitness rate, and then we have to build him in the team. And I'm sure he'll contribute to a level, and he will be an important player, but that will take a couple of weeks.
Oh, yes, I've got a question for you.
Yeah,
I've got a question for you.
Sorry, give me 1 second, Shane. So, and it counts some more players. Joshua made big set last few. He's important today, but I didn't expect this 4 weeks ago. The first one was with Delit. I don't know what this guy's waffling about, to be honest. I really don't know. Composer, he might take months to settle. I hope that's the case and not start, because I can't. You can't tell me that against. I don't even care that it's Southampton. Casemiro can't play against Southampton. That's it. Anyway, so yeah. What were you saying, Chainsaw?
So there's 2 sides to this. There's one side is 3 seasons in, and he's, you know, saying statements like he's still making a team, he's still starting. You know, he hasn't found his team, his own tactics, formations, etc. He's still, you know, telling the fans to give him time to sort things out. However, the flip to it is Arteta did something similar where it took him 3-4 years, and then he obviously started challenging for the league. So would you want Ten Hag to continue this project, even though it's been 3 years?
Well,
right?
Well, with Arteta though, you started to see the change in year 3. So that's the thing. So Arteta definitely.
So this is the third year.
Yes, what I'm saying. Yeah. So if we start to see change, we're progressing. So then fine. Of course, if Ten Hag finishes top 4, gets a trophy, I don't think he's getting sacked. No, he's not. You know, unless the only thing might be because Ineos only gave him a 1-year extension.
Mm-hmm.
I still think because you've got to remember, Ineos took a long time to decide whether they should keep him or not, and Ineos were open. They were like they spoke to Tuchel, they spoke to the managers, you know. So this is not a question. This is not like the Glazers were like, no. Just like with Chelsea board, where the new board didn't want a Tuchel, they want their own guy in.
I see.
They want their own guy. So, I would make a case that, as far as Ineos is concerned, even though I think what you said makes logical sense, Ineos are probably thinking, okay, if this goes bad, he's not our guy anyway.
Yeah, but
sorry, go on.
I swear Arteta finished 8th in his 3rd season. So if you guys finish, let's say
his 3rd season, his 2nd season.
Are you sure?
No, it wasn't his 3rd season. I'm sure it was. I mean, well, if I go back to the
maybe his 2nd season. Yeah, maybe you're right on that. Was it 2021 or 2022?
Yeah, so this is okay. So last season, 2023, it's obviously Arsenal finished 2nd. The season before that, they finished 2nd before that. So that was his 3rd, I think. The season before that, they finished 5th.
Okay, 5th, not 8th.
And then the season before that, 2021, that was when they finished 8th. So that was so 8th was 4 seasons ago. So that was when in that season when they finished 8th.
Right.
I'm fairly sure that was when so it was 2021 when he came in 4 seasons ago.
He came in 2019 December.
Okay, 2019. So this one, where's Arsenal?
So 8th as well.
8th.
Okay, so it's 8th, and then 5th. So he's
8th. Yeah.
So his 3rd season was 5th.
His 3rd season was
5th. So if that's the case, if
I guess it was technically 2nd because he came halfway through in December. So I don't think people counted that. I think they would have said his first official one was 8th and 2. Yeah. So okay. So
it's not a direct comparison, but he won the FA Cup with Arsenal as well. Ten Hag's won two trophies with you guys. So if he comes 5th this season, would you sack him, or would you say one more season?
He needs to go back into Champions League with the money that was spent. He needs to come into Champions League. So if he finishes 5th with a Europa League, then yeah, he'll stay. But the thing is, it's like I said, that's what I would do, just because I would want to sort of keep things. So make no mistake, Ugarte will play during the national break. He will, exactly. That's why I don't understand the whole thing of like he needs rest and time. He's going to play for Uruguay, isn't he? You know, Matsurawa and Uruguay. I mean, I know he didn't play a lot for PSG when Thingy dropped him, but still, Jackson says don't play average players, etc. Like Rashford, etc. Man United not finishing 5th, or exactly because
I think they finished 7th.
Yeah, because the differences with those seasons also, it's gotten more competitive. You obviously have Newcastle that are doing their thing. Like I think Newcastle are going to be stronger this season because they don't have to worry about Champions League or things now. So they're going to focus on the league again. You know, Spurs, I've got no idea. Spurs are Spurs, to be honest. So
I see. So where do you have United finishing?
Maximum will be 6th. I don't think they'll get any higher than 6th.
I say 7th. Where do you think Liverpool will finish?
Liverpool finish in the top 4. I think Liverpool. Well, I think it'll be a 3-horse race between Arsenal, Liverpool, and City again. I think.
But where would you put Liverpool in the race?
Liverpool probably 2nd, because I think City are going to go 5 in a row.
You know what I think. You know what position I put Liverpool.
I know you think you put Liverpool first. I know.
Yes.
I know you do. I know.
You can clip it.
But Højlund is a beast. Højlund is
look. I'll put
it's
£50 super chat if we don't make it. Number 1.
Okay, I'll hold you. So I clip that £50 super chat if we didn't. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Or you could give it to me directly so that YouTube don't take the tax on it. So
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I can do that as well.
So like it, but yeah, I will. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. But I think that City
I'm confident.
just look too good, man. We get Inter's coach. Inzaghi's all right. Thomas is 6. Yeah. This is the thing. Like the way I saw City is that I will take 5th or 6th with a Europa League, so we can get to a Champions League. But the only thing I'll say is that I don't think Ineos would. I don't think Ineos would, because as far as Ineos looking 10 games, that's why. Okay, because people need to remember that Ineos were contemplating sacking him after the FA Cup final. I think if he lost the FA Cup, they were going to sack him outright. The fact that he won it,
that's true.
There was a bit of fan support, and also the fact that there wasn't the managerial market wasn't good. That's why they kept him. But notice they only gave him a year extension. So the very fact that they only gave him a year extension shows that they were like, because his contract was set to expire this end of this season. So like, right, we'll trigger the year extension. There you go. That's it. But if you screw up, then we'll obviously let you go. And I suspect Ruud Van Nistelrooy is there for a reason as well. So
to replace him.
Yeah, well, at least as a temporary, to have a plan as a temporary manager, so that then in the summer, when the manager market opens again, you can make a decision. Because like I said, much like with what happened with Chelsea, and Tuchel eventually left, they were waiting for him to screw up. Ineos are doing the same thing. Ineos are waiting for Ten Hag to screw up badly, and that's why if he screws up badly, he's gone. Ruud Van Nistelrooy will be brought in, and then in the summer, Ineos will make a proper decision as to how they to recruit. It's as simple as that, really. That's why I've said from the start is that I don't have to say that I'm Ten Hag out or in. Ten Hag will sack himself.
I see. Have you done the player ratings?
I've not, but to be honest, I've got to go. I might have to upload a separate video later for the player ratings because I've got early work tomorrow. So, but I do a quick question from FB. So, RDS question: when a player single-handedly destroys the game in one half, what can be done? I mean, you talk about Casemiro. I mean, I appreciate that Casemiro was garbage and has been retired, but and that a lot of the blame was him. But you also got to look at the system as well. And also, I'm a bit tired of the fact that, like I was watching the watch along with you, and the customer. I know. Thanks for tuning in the watch along as well, by the way. City, Arsenal, Liverpool are locks. The rest up for grabs. Yeah, potentially you get a 5th place if English teams do well, and I would anticipate that United. I hope that England get 5 spots. I'd like to think they will, because you'd think that for the Europa League, especially now that you can't drop into different competitions. So given the teams in the Europa League, you'd still think that United and Spurs are probably favourites to win the Europa League. I mean, aside from, Lazio, to be honest, aren't that great. You've got Roma and Frankfurt. That's about it, I think. I don't think there's anyone else I can think of that of note that's in because most of the notable teams in the Europa League are teams that drop in from the CL. I know, and Real Sociedad.
So wait, they don't drop in? No one.
No. So in the new format? So obviously it's a league now, isn't it? So what happens is the top 8 in the league qualify; they go through, no problem.
Yep.
Then teams 16 to 24 go playoffs, and the bottom 8 are automatically eliminated.
I see. I thought the playoff, whoever loses the playoff goes to Europa League.
No. Just gone. Automatically
that makes Europa League easier.
Well, yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. For me, it's like the way I see it is like my goal is to go into Champions League. If United get 5th or 6th and win Europa League, then I'm like, okay, fine, that's it.
Yeah, you should win the Europa League.
Okay, or you get secure it, and then you can decide and make an assessment at the end. We've got back into Champions League. Maybe still get a new manager who can coach him going forward.
Sure.
Let me just quickly read just some comments, then we'll begin to bounce. Big up 8 to hi. City, obsessed with City, Arsenal, Liverpool are locks. The rest up for grabs. Yeah, I mean, hopefully 5th is something. 4th, I don't know. It's for me, it's between Newcastle, Villa. I don't think Villa will get it simply because I don't think Villa's squad depth is big enough to compete in all those competitions. So I think they'll struggle. Newcastle could be, Chelsea could be, Spurs, you never know, but Spurs look crap, to be honest. Well, they look better than us, but
Brighton, maybe Brighton.
No, but Brighton again, it's a depth. People said this again at the beginning of last season when Zirkzee was doing his thing, but I always said at the start, it's like Brighton are good, but Brighton, they pick up a few injuries and the depth, it's going to be difficult.
What about West Ham? I think the signings.
Yeah, but even now, looking at the way they play, and to be honest, I don't rate Lopetegui as a coach. I don't. I actually think Moyes is a better coach than Lopetegui. I'll say it right now. I think he is. I don't know how he gets jobs because I've never
his
really rated
reputation.
him.
I think
His reputation for what, you know?
As in he's managed big clubs.
I just think he's, Moyes. I'm not saying Moyes' ball was good, but at the end of the day, he still won you guys a trophy. And he still finished quite high with West Ham. Like, what do you think Lopetegui is going to come and do? You know, like even when I watched City, I was like, at least with Moyes, they were physical. They were able to kind of ruffle City, cause them problems. They won at times. You know, against when I watched them now, they were basically toothless. City dominated them completely. They didn't challenge, nothing. So anyway, that's by the by. Oh, big up Atonement. Let me just quickly go to Atonement for the super chat. Thank you so much, Atonement, super chat man. Thank you so much. Salute RDS. I appreciate it. Like this stuff like this does motivate me in country to make more content for you guys. It really, really does. So because I sometimes forget that I have a community on this channel. It's not as big as other communities, but still community nonetheless. So I generally do appreciate your support, guys. I really, really do. And I will try and do much like, but I'm just a very busy man, busy doctor, busy relationships, all these different things. So it can be quite difficult. So, but yeah, thank you so much for your super chat, Toman. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm sure on the HH's show, they're busy saying, why am I not on the show? But I have my excuse, which is I'm on my actual channel. And if anyone wants to see me and my face, they can come and watch me on my channel. That's why I'm here. Let me quickly finish some of these chats. We say Man United don't finish fifth, but Spurs lost today to Everton and Chelsea is a wild card. I mean, Newcastle, I still think Newcastle are a threat. Chelsea a wild card. Sorry?
Spurs didn't lose to Everton, did they?
No, I think he's saying we say United don't finish fifth, but he's saying but Spurs lost today. Oh wait, to Everton. All right, no,
to Everton.
Yeah,
huh?
no,
What?
they lost to Newcastle SSB and Chelsea. Well, yeah, Chelsea's a wild card, but the thing is, Chelsea for me is just they have attacks that can score goals, and I think that Chelsea against the smaller teams, they did draw to Palace at home. So was it Palace at home or away? I think it was at home. Yeah, I think it was at home. So I say that, but I don't know. So Chelsea are a wild card. I don't know for Chelsea. I really don't know. I don't think that they're going to be comfortably top four. I don't think. But who knows with them? I think it just depends on how the thing about, like I said about Chelsea, they've got players that can score goals, but I think like United, they're missing a striker. And also, I think that in fairness to Chelsea United, elite Chelsea have actually had, they played against City, but still they've had easier start in my opinion, because Fulham at home, Brighton away, and Liverpool at home, I think is still harder than Ipswich, Wolves, Crystal Palace, and City in my personal opinion. So, but it is what it is. 8 Tug says that's my second favorite team, Liverpool. Well, big up. A lot of Liverpool fans that watch the show, so big up you guys. Any more questions I can see? So it's a round up. How can you start a player who has no impact in the past 2 games? I was even talking about Rashford. Well, ask Ten Hag, buddy. Ask Ten Hag. At home, yeah, they did draw at home. Yeah. United do have tough fixtures as well, but and that's what I'm saying. When you look at the fixtures, Southampton away shouldn't be tough, but you've got Crystal Palace away, and you've got Villa away, and you've got Spurs at home, and those are going to be difficult games. And if you win those, okay, I can admit seasons start to turn around. But if you lose those, questions are going to be asked. They're going to be asked. Right, guys, I've got to go. It's late. I've got work in the morning, important job going on. Chainsaw, thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate it. Obviously, we will. It's the international break. I'll probably be doing a live show at some point in the season regarding United's best starting 11 and how and where we go from here. But thanks everyone so much for getting involved. Remember, if you need to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio, follow us on Twitter and smash the notification button. Let's grow. Let's get to 5K by the end of the year. It'll be really, really good. And let's continue building the community. Salute, guys. Salute. Stay tuned. Have a nice day and cheers. Peace, peace.
Peace.